Hey, all you out there in internet land. Welcome to another episode of A Modern, Mostly Biased Musicology. I haven't posted in about a week, and that's because I was out in New York City. Just got back not long ago. Got some fantastic places that to showcase for you in the month of July on a new segment here on A Modern, Mostly Biased Musicology of a walking tour of music history. So the first city that's going to be highlighted is going to be New York. It's just, there's so much music history in that city as a whole. There's no way that I could possibly cover it in one trip, or cover it all in one trip anyway. So the focus was primarily on a lot of the older rock and roll history areas and monuments. And I'm going to be really excited to bring that to you in July. So I'm going to take some time to edit it and do up some really nice production work for it to showcase those locations and give you guys a little bit of insight into the history and what is going on within New York when you're next there to visit. But in the meantime, for today, I thought we'd focus on festival season. I mean, festival season's into full swing. I always mark festival season for the summer and where I consider it to be in full swing upon Glastonbury. So Glastonbury is a festival out in Europe, UK. It is one of the most prominent festivals in the world. It's been one of the longest running festivals at Worthy Farm out in Ireland. It's I don't know. I've never been there. I'd love to go. That's one of my dream trips, is to go out to the UK and attend Glastonbury, because from what I read and hear, and every year it's just a phenomenal showcase and showing, and group of people and just all there about the music. You don't usually hear about anything bad coming out of Glastonbury like you do some other festivals. So to start with, let's talk about what we've heard from Glastonbury this year. First of all, they went with a fairly safe lineup this year. Last year they tried the hip-hop thing. They brought Kanye out. He got booed. He got some water bottles thrown at him. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. I do think that eventually the Glastonbury concert goers are going to have to embrace more modern, genres, I guess. It's traditionally always been a very rock-oriented show. We'll see if we get a new wave of guitar-oriented music, because to be honest, folks, this is a whole other conversation, but to me, hip-hop, electronica, it's all part of, this modern genre of music or era of music. I don't completely believe that rock or rock and roll is dead. It's just changed and morphed, right? But that's a topic for another day. So they went with a more traditional guitar-oriented, rock-oriented lineup that was more on the safe end. Radiohead played. We had Noel and Liam Gallagher out. Unlike the bookies' odds of a pseudo Oasis reunion, looks like it didn't happen, folks. That's one that may never happen. There is no hell freezing over for Oasis, I don't think. It'll be an interesting day if it does. So, but, sounds like the Radiohead set was phenomenal as expected. They leaned heavily on OK Computer, as it has hit its seminal 20th anniversary. I did listen to the re-release and remaster of that as a side note. It's good. It's not that much different. The remaster has a little bit more, focus and element on some of the computer sounds or synth sounds. So, that aspect of it, which obviously Radiohead has adapted the synth and electronic end of their music a lot more in, recent times. They're not nearly as guitar oriented as they were in the 90s. In fact, OK Computer is probably their last truly guitar oriented record. So they've gotten a lot more comfortable with the mixing and mastering of those types of sounds and tracks. So it makes sense that they would want to remaster this with that as the prominent voice. But it doesn't really change much with the record, unlike something like the Sgt. Pepper reissue and remaster, where you do get more depth in the music and sound. That being said, it's still a phenomenal record. One of my favorite records of all time. It's always on the top 100 records of all time or albums of all time charts. If you have not listened to OK Computer, go listen to it. It's key listening, whether you're a rock fan or just looking at it from a modern music perspective, because it is one of the starts of a move towards more electronic based sounds within modern music. Lyrics very applicable today. Tom York and Radiohead have always been ones to question technology to an extent, even though they're big proponents of it. So great to listen to that. Now, controversy. There's always some form of controversy out at Glastonbury. What was it this year? Well, probably the biggest controversy was over Johnny Depp deciding to come out. He had an announcement or at a presentation for a film screening of his at Glastonbury, and he wittingly or not, or whether you want to call it an act of wit or not, questioned when the last time an American president had been assassinated by an actor. So he's obviously alluding to John Wilkes Booth and the murder of Abraham Lincoln, and maybe putting the question out there that may or should happen again. All it really comes down to, folks, is that he's just voicing his opinion about Trump and his animosity towards him. Everybody, obviously the media and everything, took with it and ran, and now Depp is in a little bit of hot water because of it. But you know what? It's Johnny Depp. He's rock and roll at heart. He's that kind of guy, and I would have expected a comment like that coming from someone like Axl Rose or otherwise, or so why not Johnny Depp, right? The only other piece of controversy is over Ed Sheeran's performance. There were a lot of, not a lot, like it sounds like just enough though to cause him to have a little bit of outrage over people thinking that he had a lot of canned backing music and didn't really put on that great of a performance. Now, I've seen, not live, I'd love to see Ed Sheeran live actually. I really enjoy his music. My wife loves his music. He's a great performer, great lyricist, really good hook lines, so great songwriter. And what's really interesting about him, recently at least, and I've seen him on some of the awards shows and everything, is that he uses loops. He's one of the best loop station operators as far as guitar players and solo musicians goes that I've seen or heard. Now there's some other guys out there for sure that are using loops really effectively, not as much within the rock genre. There's a guy doing it in jazz that's phenomenal. I can't think of his name right now. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. I got a loop station. I love my loop station, but it's not easy to pull that off live. It takes a ton of practice and rehearsing. Yes, it is a piece of technology, but you're recording the loop live and then letting it play, and then you're recording another loop live in front of the audience and letting it play. Is it the same as a full band? Well, there's reason for debate there as far as maybe some of the more jam-oriented styles and whether or not you want to see the various musicians rather than just a single guy. But you gotta hand it to Ed Sheeran and just his virtuosity and his musicianship to be able to actually pull that off, especially in front of an audience as big as what's at Glastonbury. I mean, Glastonbury is like tens of thousands to 100,000 people, depending upon the venue and year and everything else. So, to be able to pull that off in arena-sized crowds and larger, on your own as a solo musician, hands down to you. And, I mean, from a business perspective, the guy knows what he's doing. He's one guy. All he needs is a crew behind him and some technology, and he's making the bucks. And why not, right? Because it's hard to make dollars as a musician these days. Why not do that? So, Glastonbury sounds like it was a fair success. Sounds like everybody had great performances. The Foo Fighters played as well. Sounds like they went off without a hitch. They're always a good live band. Now, what does that bring us to? Well, this is the start of festival season as a whole for the summer. We got tons of concerts coming up. We got Lollapalooza. Coachella actually happened already. You could say that's the start of festival season, but it's up here in Canada, I don't consider Coachella the start of festival season because we can't even start our festivals until at least June, which is what we're in now. Lollapalooza, Bonnaroo, out down in the States. Up here, we got the Way Home Festival coming. Up into the Barrie area. North by Northeast is currently on. Now, it's not quite the same type of festival, so this doesn't necessarily apply to that. But what does this bring us to? Large festival etiquette. Very important topic, folks. Concert etiquette. So concert etiquette is key. You got to have a certain things that you need to be aware of when you attend a large event like that. First of all, make sure you keep hydrated, not just with beer, guys, right? Drink your water in between. It's a long day. If the sun's beating down on you, it's hot. If you're there for the weekend and you're camping out, you don't want to be the guy in the middle of tens of thousands of people who passes out on the lawn and gets left there by your friends. I've seen that guy. That guy gets close to trampled at times. He gets mud kicked on his face while he's sleeping, and eventually he wakes up and he's not happy. Don't be that guy. Make sure you're drinking water, okay? Second thing, if you're around that guy, watch out for that guy. I mean, yeah, he was an idiot. He got a little bit too drunk or whatever, passed out on the lawn, but don't let people fall on him. Don't let people kick him and hurt him, okay? Now, there's a fine line there, right? Because the guy passed out on the lawn, let's face it, right? So, don't go out of your way to just make sure that, he doesn't get grass all over his clothes, but don't let him get hurt, okay? Cutting through a crowd. Now, this goes for shows in general, but especially at a festival show. There's so many people there. There's a large crowd. People have different opinions on where they want to stand. Some people like to just be further back, and they like to enjoy the music. That's great. I'm turning into one of those guys in my older years. I still like to get up close when I can, depending upon the artist, for limited moments of time. So, if you're one of those guys that likes to cut through the crowd, first and foremost, concert etiquette, don't be an asshole and push your way through everybody and just shove. There's always a hole. There is always a hole, especially in Canada. Canadians are super nice. 9 times out of 10, we'll let a guy by. If somebody's actually blocking your way, they know you're there. They don't want you to get in front of them. They got there first. Remember that. They got there first. Find another hole. There's a hole down the way. You might have to walk a little further to get there, but just find your holes. Don't push your way in. Okay? Do me that favor. Mosh pits. Now, moshing and body slamming is something that has changed since the 90s in a way. I feel it's gotten a lot more aggressive than it ever has been. Or at least the sense of community is gone when it comes to the mosh pit now. So my biggest suggestion there, folks, is be careful. Watch out for the guy that's fallen down. Make sure he gets picked up, okay? And watch out for the ladies. Now, ladies that come into the mosh pit, that's fine. But don't go just absolutely trying to destroy them, okay? It's just not cool. The other key factor there, folks, is anybody who doesn't want to get in the mosh pit, if you see a big open circle when you're walking through the crowd trying to get to the front, don't walk in the middle of it. That's a mosh pit waiting to happen. One dude is sitting there waiting, just waiting for you to walk through, and you're going to get crushed, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. That might be the biggest hole in the area. You do not want to walk through that hole, okay? Last and most importantly, just have respect for everyone. They're all there for the music. Everybody's there for the music. There's no need to be aggressive. You're just there for a good time, enjoying the music, enjoying the scenery, enjoying the great outdoors of this festival and the show. So enjoy it. Have fun. Love all your friends and neighbors while you're there. And, peace with everyone, right? Just be cool. So I'm looking forward to the festival season. I hope you're looking forward to the festival concert season. Make sure you post some comments. Let me know what you've seen. Give me some idea of who's been good and what festivals have been good this year. I'm going to do my best to, let you know and keep you informed. And stay tuned this month for the walking tour of New York City right here on A Modern Mostly Biased Musicology.